It's International Women's Day on Sunday. The theme this year is Give to Gain. So I thought it'd be a really great idea for us New Icon women to come together and discuss this a bit more, specifically around support, mentorship, and the role women play in shaping the future of tech. But Zoe, you made some great points about, of course, celebrating ourselves on this day, but also it being a reminder that progress isn't shared equally everywhere. So I thought maybe, if it's not putting you on the spot, did you want to kick off the discussion?
Of course, yeah, why not? I live for the, diamonds and pressure and all that. Why not? Yeah, so something that it was a really interesting topic, and the kind of focus for International Women's Day that you mentioned earlier, and it really got me kind of just thinking that where a girl is born shapes like how safe their future is, and it's just kind of a reminder that progress isn't shared equally everywhere at the moment. Like in so many parts of the world, equality and being equal focuses on leadership, representation, and opportunity. You always hear about like the especially here, about like gender pay gaps and what's your employee divide, and how many women have you got on the board, and how many opportunities are you giving, which are really kind of obviously very important and incredibly important. But in other places, the conversation begins much earlier, and something that's really fundamental, and it's the safety to learn and to go to school, and to build a future, having access to education across technology, and access to opportunity are some of the most powerful ways that we can create lasting change, I think.
Couldn't agree more. Sophie, you mentioned about tech for good. So we spoke about this a bit in our Basecamp channel, and I gave 3 questions. So one of them being, what excites you most about the future of technology? And you kind of framed it towards tech for good.
I think some of the exciting things happening in tech that resonate with me more is like wearable tech. So Ellie and I are Aura Ring members. But just having access to data through that sort of wearable tech. So mine is integrated with Natural Cycles. So having all of that data available has really helped me with a PCOS diagnosis, so polycystic ovarian syndrome, which I was really like battling with doctors to get any sort of information about or diagnosis for like a good couple of years. But having like this data available to me and taking it to the doctor and being like, this is me, like here's a report, please read it. I don't know if they did. But yeah, just that battle is something that I think women go through quite a lot with women's health. But having access to like extra data was amazing for me. However, similar to what Zoe was saying, like I'm really lucky that I can afford it or like prioritize it in my sort of budgeting. To me, it's kind of a non-negotiable because it's been so helpful. But obviously, like it's not really accessible. Like Aura is quite expensive, like there are subscription charges and things. So I'm really lucky that I can do that. But yeah, so I think something that would excite me is having that more freely available to lots of people. Yeah, removing a sort of paywall and just making it more accessible, a bit more equal for everyone.
Did you use Hertility, Sophie? Because they're a company that, well, they help with all sorts of women's health essentially, and they helped diagnose PCOS in someone I know. So I think that's a really good example of how tech can be used in women's health. But again, there is like the financial barrier there because I don't think it's a free service. So yeah, that's kind of an example of what you were saying.
Yeah, there's a long way to go still, I think. But it does also excite me, Aura aside, how quickly technology is becoming more accessible. Obviously, when it comes to women's health, maybe not so much, but in general, having access, I guess, to AI, especially over the last couple years, has really helped me. And I'm sure a lot of women get into jobs like, you know, shaping a CV or helping with a job application, which they probably wouldn't have felt that comfortable applying to originally.
For me, AI helped a lot, especially with the comms. Like, if you see me 5 years back, like, I know what to say, but whether it's technical or whether it's something like, you know, have a normal a chat or comms, for me it was very difficult to communicate to the team. But with AI, I was able to express, or I was able to say what I want to say. So that I was like, that was when AI or ChatGPT came. It was a big change for me within a year. Like, I was not able to write documents. Like, what I want to say, I wasn't able to write down or speak. But in that, when ChatGPT came, like, I think I was able to do that. I was able to write a tech document. I was able to also communicate what I want to say technically and otherwise. So it helped my, like, coming from a different culture, it's not always easy to translate. What I want to say in my language is not exactly, if I translate it, it is not what I want to say. It could be different. It could mean different. Okay, it could even like be a little bit of rude, but I don't want to be rude. So it was like, it really reshaped me in the comms. That's what I want to say about AI. I think that helped me a lot.
No, I completely agree, because when I kind of worked in the same job during the whole introduction of ChatGPT and AI, and as well as uni, and there's, I think, because the way AI is trained, the predominant tone of voice is slightly more confident. And I feel like oftentimes when I would be at work, maybe my tone of voice wouldn't be as straightforward or eloquent in a way. But I think because in some way, I think some of the baseline for ChatGPT often was a bit more confident. Well, it was trained often, letting content from male voice predominantly, but it took my thoughts, my voice, and made it just that inch that added a bit of confidence that maybe it wouldn't have had before. And I noticed that as I was working in uni, and if I needed anything rephrased, it often removed the I think, maybe, and it changed the tone of voice to be more confident. And I've now picked it up in my way of writing, of like, no, I know this is a fact, but it was actually, oddly enough, something that I noticed through ChatGPT tone of voice. So yeah, it definitely helps with confidence, at least in my writing as well.
Also with AI, kind of on a similar note, but different. Like in the early days of AI, we saw it like learning from like biases. Like you'd see horror stories of where it's used in recruitment, and then it was only recruiting like males for certain roles because that's the only people they'd seen in those roles. Whereas like now, I'm excited to see where AI goes in terms of becoming more ethical and inclusive as well. So hopefully it can start to like dismantle those biases rather than reinforcing them, essentially.
I guess that kind of leads on to my next question is, what advice would you give to women starting careers, whether that be using ChatGPT or AI in general? Do you have any advice from working in tech or in general?
I think I would definitely lean into using AI to support, like obviously right from the beginning of putting a CV together, but also use it to help refine. Don't use it, it can't be used in a way that it does everything, because it is really obvious when people use AI, but refine it, like use it as a guide, use it as kind of like the coach or the tutor, to make sure that you've got those cover letters like absolutely like nailing, like just nailing it, and kind of standing out as well, because the job market's really tough right now. So if there are any job openings anywhere, you just get flooded and inundated with applications. So really lean on it and use it definitely as as a tool that can guide you, but don't solely rely on it. Yeah, I think that's probably it for me. I think the junior roles of definitely junior developer roles have really shifted because of AI at the moment, and getting into entry level roles is really difficult, because and it's also a knock on from COVID as well. A lot of us are at home, we're still hybrid, so you always learn more kind of like face to face and it's not just learning like, oh, what's the day-to-day job and the task at hand, but it's also about like how people interact with each other when they interact, and just those softer skills that you're learning, you pick up by like osmosis by being around people, and you also can't learn those from AI because it's really obvious if you try.
As a developer, I would always go to the official documentation first, read it, and then I would if I don't understand something on the official documentation, I would go to simplify it to the AI. But I would not ask, if I'm doing a task, I would not ask AI to do this for me. But I would know how to do it. But if I get stuck somewhere, or if I need to get it better, then I would go to AI, I think, and verification should be done by me, not the AI.
I often ask it, like if I'm doing a task like that, a research or investigation task, I'll ask it to provide me the sources, and then I'll go through the sources and have a look myself just to double check, because sometimes it gives you links that are just go to nowhere. So that's always nice. I was going to say, on the like advice to women, I think men are a lot more likely to just apply to jobs when they don't necessarily meet every single requirement, which is good. Like, I think that's what women should do a lot more, and we should have the confidence to do that more. Well, yeah, I guess talking from personal experience, I definitely found that when I was job hunting previously. So yeah, I guess it's just about having that confidence. Like, everyone gets imposter syndrome, so it's just a bit of like fake it till you make it type thing. I think confidence is just a massive part of your career as well. So yeah, I think that would be my advice.
I think the confidence is really important, but something that I have kind of always stuck with is just being open and honest as well. But like, I think, especially at New Icon, when I first joined, it was quite a like step up from my previous role. So there was lots of like technical things that I, had to learn very quickly, but just being really open and honest with everyone. I mean, like, just asking for more detail, and actually like everyone is so lovely and willing to help. But I think, yeah, just people might not know that you don't necessarily understand what, Alita is saying about a server or something like that. It's actually totally fine to say, I'm not from this like really, as technical a background as you guys. Can you just put that in like layman's terms for me? Like, it's totally fine to say that. But I really struggled at first to kind of admit that I needed to ask more questions, but then it's like, well, I'm not a developer, of course I need to ask these questions. That's totally fine. Yeah,
completely agree with you on that one, Sophie, because obviously being a marketer and not being from a tech background at all, at the start I was like, I don't know much about tech at all, but actually it moves so quickly that nobody ever really has all the answers anyway. So I've just found that I've learned the most from my year here. It's just asking all the time, and just everybody's so willing to help, like you said. So I wouldn't always worry about not knowing everything at the start.
Yeah, even as a dev, like, there's so much different tech changing constantly. Like, you can't know everything about everything.
It's okay to say I don't know.
Exactly. I'm going to leave it on one last question because I had 3 written down. So I wanted to know, what's one thing you've learned whilst working in tech? Or it could just be over the last year if you don't want it to be tech focused. But yeah, anything that you've learned that you'd want to share that may be helpful?
I guess as a woman, I don't necessarily fit into like the dev stereotype, but it's not an issue. It's actually more valuable because then as women, we can offer unique perspectives that we can bring to the table. So yeah, it's not a hindrance essentially, and don't feel that you have to fit into some mold to fit into your career.
I think the thing that I've learned as well is really similar, or maybe started to do over the last year or so, is we work in a very male dominated, obviously, space. Like tech is still male dominated, and if we are in kind of like, if I'm in meetings with clients and it is very male dominated and orientated, there are breakout sessions and times where, you know, you want to be building common ground and just like having things to talk about that aren't technically like work related or product and project focused. So lean into what I've done is like really leaned into, well, I'll just learn a bit more about like specifically, like I'll just listen to like a football podcast, because everybody has an opinion normally on football. So if I've got that knowledge and know of something that's kind of just going on in like that week or something, it's just a really good icebreaker, and it just fills that space, and you feel like you've got something in your back pocket, in your tool belt, that you're like, okay, I don't have to overthink, I don't have to worry. And it's also, I chose football because it's male dominated and it's something that most people have an opinion on, but it's also not something that people, men especially, will expect a woman to talk about. So it's actually quite nice to then be able to flip any kind of assumptions that people may have made about me when I join a room. And most of the time I am the only woman.
I like to do the same with Formula One. Yeah. Yeah, it can be. I think thinking about sort of all my clients, it is really male heavy. But I think especially working like with Alita and Ellen and Zoe, like I feel really proud actually of like what we achieve at New Icon, and like presenting this work to, you know, quite male heavy like attendees in a meeting and stuff. And it, you know, sometimes it's Ellen and I, like this week we've had lots of quite tech heavy conversations, haven't we, Ellen, with other people, and like it's just me and you, and I'm like, yeah, we got this, like why shouldn't we, you know, there's no reason we shouldn't, and we do. It's just, yeah, it's a good feeling. It's something I'm really proud of at New Icon.
Well, thank you everybody, that was actually really lovely.
I love this. We should do this more often.
Yeah, definitely. Happy International Women's Day.
Yeah. Happy International Women's Month. Let's take a whole month. We deserve it.